Hacksaw Ridge, starring Andrew Garfield, Sam Worthington, Vince Vaughn, Hugo Weaving, and Teresa Palmer. Keegan, what'd you think?
That is a cast. Holy cow. We just saw Hacksaw Ridge this morning.
Yeah.
I'm still coming down from it.
And it's been a couple hours now since we've left the theater, and I needed some time to decompress after that.
Yeah, we were a little bit solemn walking out. This movie blew me away.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, this guy is so talented. And this marks the return of Mel Gibson into directing. He's had about a 10-year hiatus from film in general.
Yeah.
He is back with a vengeance. Holy cow. There's a lot to talk about with this. My initial thoughts, incredible cinematography. The music was amazing, but I mean, for me, probably the star of this movie is the sound design. The sound design was unreal. I found myself jumping at just sounds in this movie.
All the time. Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to just form thoughts on it because it was so much to take in. Visually, just beautiful and horrific. I mean, they really captured war and the atrocities of war, and it really hits you.
There's certain parts where it's hard to watch. I heard another reviewer, Chris Stuckman. He described the first battle scene that you see in the movie as almost a horror movie, and he said it right. I mean, it's a thriller. You're terrified, just as Andrew Garfield is terrified in this moment. You feel with him. We were talking about how we haven't seen war done this brutally and this real since Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
It's visceral.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Garfield, amazing actor. If he doesn't come out of this with an Oscar nomination, I'll be shocked. He was just, from the moment he appeared on screen, just you were enthralled with his performance, and just so believable and so real, and so committed to it. I mean, you could really see the work he put into it, and you felt for him, and you feared for him and wanted him to succeed. It was something else. Vince Vaughn was great. What was surprising about this movie, we're talking about how heavy it was, but it had a lot of moments that really made you laugh. I think they balanced it well with keeping it light.
They were belly laughs too.
Oh, absolutely. I was listening to an interview with Aaron Sorkin not too long ago, and Aaron Sorkin is one of my favorite writers, screenwriters, television writers. Does The West Wing, Sports Night, wrote A Few Good Men, and he's saying you can't tell these visceral, real stories without the humor. You can't do that to the audience, and the writers of this movie, I think, really take that to heart and did it well, because you need those moments. You need to be able to laugh to get through the really harsh.
It's an emotional roller coaster. We're laughing, we're crying, we're all over the place.
Yep.
Hugo Weaving, I want to throw him in there. He was just great. It's awesome to see him, in a movie right now. I haven't seen him a lot recently, but just fantastic to see him in this role. The struggle that he went through because he was in war. He said so much without saying too much. There was so much in a certain scene with just eye contact between Andrew Garfield and Hugo, and you just felt exactly what they were both thinking in that moment. It was just so well executed. Let's talk about a couple other performances. We've got
Sam Worthington. I had no idea was in this movie. I don't know how I missed that. I don't know if he was highlighted on the trailers at all, or if I saw him in it, just wasn't putting it together, because I think he did the American accent pretty well.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as Andrew Garfield does a Virginia accent, so more southern. it totally blew me out of the water because he's Scottish, and you never know. So I don't know if, from the trailers, maybe I just didn't realize it, but he was really good. He's the captain of the regiment that Andrew Garfield's character is in, and is
Put in
phenomenal.
a very solid performance.
Yeah.
Teresa Palmer,
Yeah.
she was great. The relationship between Teresa Palmer and Andrew Garfield, very heartwarming.
Yeah.
It gave you the feels. It was reminiscent of Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy in a better movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Really enjoyed that. I guess with all the praise, let's get into maybe some negatives we have about the film. Can you think of anything that maybe you would have changed, you would have liked to see? I've got one thing that did stick with me. There's a love story to the movie. I would have liked to see a little bit more time put into that. I wanted just a little bit more of the progression, I guess.
Yeah, it did develop
before-
kind of quickly.
Yeah, before everything got going too fast. I mean, this was a pretty long movie. I wouldn't have minded if it was longer. I was so invested in this film that you could have kept me there for another 10 minutes, and I would have been totally okay with it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Something that threw me off, and I don't know if it's because of inaccuracies in other World War II movies I've seen, or if it's an inaccuracy in this, but the uniforms actually threw me off a little bit. They took me out just a tad in some of the scenes because I wasn't. They looked different than what I'm used to, and like I said, I'm not sure if it's an inaccuracy in this movie or if it's because of inaccuracies in other movies that always do it the same way. So that's something that actually I want to look into, and if anybody has any insight in that, please definitely feel free to comment. So that threw me off, and not necessarily that's a negative, but I just like to look into that more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, I don't know. It was. I've seen critics say the war sequences were too much, and I just can't agree with that. It was, I think, necessary to the story, and to what those men actually went through to tell the story of how it happened and to show what it was really like to be there.
Yeah, I saw that as honoring the actual situation. It was not something that should have been glorified so much and said, "Hoorah! All right, this was great." It was horrifying, and you got to feel that and experience that, and it was brutal and hard to come out of with such an intense situation. So let's get to our overall thoughts, and then we'll give it a score out of 10 and go from there.
Overall, fantastic movie. Very glad that Mel Gibson has made his directing comeback, and I'm hoping to see some good stuff from him in the future. Great film altogether. I would give it a 9 out of 10.
All right, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Overall, the cinematography I'm guessing is going to get a nomination. I think the sound design I have not seen everything this year yet, but I'm willing to bet the sound design will win an Oscar because it was just so unbelievable. So really, theater experience needed on this one.
Definitely.
I'm also going to give it a 9 out of 10. Just fantastic job. Let's see what Mel Gibson does next. I know he's getting a lot of offers already, so let's just see. Yeah,
it was reported that at Cannes it got a 10-minute standing ovation after this debuted, and we can see why.
Wow. Well, awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.